ChatGPT is a chatbot you can talk to online, launched a few weeks ago by OpenAI. It returns some really interesting responses. It will talk back convincingly, even find bugs in code or write essays for you. But when I was messing around with the bot a few days ago, I discovered perhaps its most important talent. It actually writes semi-plausible Zelda theories. For example, I asked the bot to write a Zelda theory about the Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time, and after thinking for a second, it fired back this. As you may know, the Shadow Temple is one of the most mysterious and dangerous dungeons in the game. It's filled with traps, puzzles, and powerful enemies. But what is the true purpose of the Shadow Temple? I will present a theory that the Shadow Temple is actually a testing ground for aspiring warriors. Throughout the temple, you'll find various challenges and obstacles that test your strength, cunning, and courage. But here's the twist. The temple itself is alive. It's controlled by a powerful spirit that uses the temple as a way to weed out the weak and unworthy. Only the strongest warriors can survive the temple's trials and reach the end. This theory also ties in with the lore of the game. In Ocarina of Time, the Shadow Temple is said to be the resting place of the evil spirit known as Bongo Bongo. This spirit was sealed away by the ancient sages, who were tasked with protecting the land of Hyrule. But what if the sages used the Shadow Temple as a way to train and prepare future warriors to fight against Bongo Bongo? The temple's challenges and obstacles would serve as a sort of final exam for those who seek to become sages and protect the land. This theory also explains the strange and eerie atmosphere of the Shadow Temple. The temple is filled with shadows, ghosts, and other dark entities. These could be the spirits of past warriors who failed the temple's trials and were consumed by the darkness. So there it generated a full theory on the Shadow Temple. It doesn't quite fit in with established Zelda lore. The Shadow Temple was actually used as an execution and interrogation chamber by the Sheikah during the Hyrulean Civil War, but still, the AI comes up with such a fascinating idea that isn't ridiculously implausible, that the sages used the temple to train warriors to fight Bongo Bongo, and that the undead creatures that infest it are actually the spirits of past warriors. But how does the AI handle a much broader prompt? How about write a Zelda theory about Revali? One possible theory about Revali, a character from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, is that he's actually a reincarnation of the hero Link from a previous timeline. In the game, Revali is a proud and arrogant member of the Rito tribe, who possesses the ability to control the wind. He's one of the 4 champions chosen by the goddess Hylia to defend Hyrule against the evil Calamity Ganon. However, Revali is also shown to be somewhat resentful of Link, the main protagonist of the game. He looks down on Link and believes that he's not worthy of the title of hero. But what if Revali's resentment towards Link is actually rooted in a past life? What if Revali was once Link and failed in his mission to defeat Ganon in a previous timeline? In this theory, Revali's previous life as Link ended in defeat and failure. Perhaps Link was unable to master the full potential of the Master Sword, or was betrayed by one of his allies. Whatever the case may be, Link's failure led to the destruction of Hyrule and the downfall of the hero. This failure and trauma stayed with Link's soul, and was carried over to his next life as Revali. As Revali, he is still haunted by the memories of his past failure, and is determined to not let the same thing happen again. This explains why Revali is so confident and arrogant. He believes that he is the only one who can truly defeat Ganon and save Hyrule, because he has already experienced failure and knows what it takes to succeed. However, this theory also suggests that Revali may be blinded by his own ego and pride. His resentment towards Link and belief in his own superiority may prevent him from seeing the truth and working together with the other champions. In the end, only time will tell if Revali's confidence and determination will lead him to victory, or if his pride will be his downfall. Again, that's such an interesting answer. The bot suggests that Revali's resentment of Link comes from the fact that the Rito champion once was Link, but failed to defeat Ganon in a previous timeline. We can start to see a trend here, though. The bot can clearly rearrange its knowledge of the Zelda games into interesting theories, but it can't support these ideas well with evidence. Revali being an incarnation of Link is not an idea I've seen talked about before. It's one that isn't supported by the game itself, but that doesn't stop it being a really creative explanation for his arrogance and pride. But what does ChatGPT think about Tingle, the 40-year-old wannabe fairy? One possible theory about Tingle, a character from the Legend of Zelda series, is that he's actually a manifestation of the Triforce of Wisdom. In the Zelda games, the Triforce is a powerful ancient artifact that is made up of 3 golden triangles, each representing one of the 3 virtues of the goddesses who created the world of Zelda: power, wisdom, and courage. According to this theory, Tingle is a manifestation of the Triforce of Wisdom, which takes on the form of a quirky and eccentric character who is obsessed with fairies and rupees, the currency of the Zelda world. This would explain Tingle's ability to float in the air, as well as his unusual knowledge and understanding of the world of Zelda. Furthermore, this theory suggests that Tingle's desire to become a fairy and his obsession with rupees could be seen as a manifestation of the Triforce of Wisdom's desire to seek knowledge and understanding. This could also explain why Tingle is sometimes depicted as a helpful character who provides valuable information to Link, the protagonist of the Zelda series, as the Triforce of Wisdom would naturally want to assist Link in his quests. Well, that's something different. Tingle is actually a manifestation of the Triforce of Wisdom, explaining why he helps Link, and it's because of this Triforce piece's desire for knowledge and understanding that he wants to become a fairy and gather as many rupees as possible. Let's keep going. How about a theory on the goddess statues? Goddess statues can be found throughout the world of Breath of the Wild. They're large, ornate sculptures of Hylia, the goddess who created the land of Hyrule. The statues are often found in remote locations, and are often surrounded by shrines and other ancient ruins. One theory is that the goddess statues were created by the ancient Hylians as a way to honour and worship Hylia. The statues likely served as religious symbols, and may have been used in rituals and ceremonies. Another theory is that the goddess statues were not just religious symbols, but also served a practical purpose. The statues may have been used as waypoints or landmarks, helping travellers to navigate the vast and often treacherous landscape of Hyrule. The statues may have also been used to mark the boundaries of different regions or territories, helping to define the political landscape of the ancient world. In addition to their religious and practical functions, the goddess statues may also have had a symbolic meaning. The statues may have represented the divine power of Hylia, and may have been meant to inspire awe and reverence in those who saw them. They may also have been seen as a reminder of the goddess's presence and protection, providing comfort and guidance to those who worshipped her. Overall, the goddess statues in Breath of the Wild are likely a reflection of the ancient Hylians' beliefs, practices, and values. They're a fascinating glimpse into the spiritual and cultural world of this fictional civilization. Here, the bot isn't quite right. The only goddess statues we find out in the wild are those at the Temple of Time, Forgotten Temple, and what eventually becomes Tarrytown, making the idea that they were used as waypoints to direct travellers unlikely, but it's a fascinating way to look at it, and a good example of how the AI uses whatever information it was trained on to piece together clues about something that doesn't actually exist. What about a theory on Calamity Ganon? One possible theory about Calamity Ganon, the main antagonist of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, is that he's actually a manifestation of the collective evil and malice of the people of Hyrule. In the game, Calamity Ganon is a powerful evil being that has been sealed away for centuries. He is the source of all the darkness and destruction in Hyrule, and the ultimate goal of Link, the main protagonist of the game, is to defeat him and restore peace to the land. However, this theory suggests that Calamity Ganon is not just a simple evil monster, but a reflection of the darkness that resides within the hearts of the people of Hyrule. Throughout the game, it's hinted that Calamity Ganon was once a mortal being, possibly even a hero or sage, who was corrupted by the power and temptation of evil. This corruption grew and spread, eventually consuming the being and transforming them into the monstrous Calamity Ganon. But what if Calamity Ganon is not just a single being, but a manifestation of the collective evil of all of the people of Hyrule? What if all the darkness, greed, and malice that exists within the hearts of the people has coalesced and taken on a physical form? This theory suggests that Calamity Ganon is not just a physical threat, but a spiritual one as well. He is the embodiment of all the darkness and evil within the people of Hyrule, and as long as this darkness exists, Calamity Ganon will continue to exist and threaten the land. Therefore, in order to truly defeat Calamity Ganon, the people of Hyrule must first overcome their own darkness and evil within their hearts. Only then can they hope to defeat Calamity Ganon and restore peace and harmony to the land. So there's a new one. Calamity Ganon isn't just the latest evolution of Ganondorf, a Gerudo man, but an amalgamation of the darkness in the hearts of all the people of Hyrule, which seems like a pretty creative, if a little far-fetched, idea. This is somewhat similar to Eiji Aonuma's explanation of the Fierce Deity's mask, where he suggests that the mask contains all the feelings and memories of all Termina's people, and again shows that the bot has absorbed enough information about the Zelda series that it can start to throw ideas around without them sounding completely ridiculous. So what does ChatGPT think about the moon in Majora's Mask? One possible theory about the moon in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is that it is actually a powerful and ancient artifact created by the ancient Hylians as a weapon against their enemies. In Majora's Mask, the moon is a central part of the game's story and gameplay. It's a massive, malevolent force that threatens to crash into the land of Termina and destroy everything in its path. The game's main objective is to prevent the moon from crashing into Termina, and to uncover the secrets behind its appearance and behaviour. However, this theory suggests that the moon is not simply a natural celestial body, but is actually a powerful and ancient artifact created by the ancient Hylians. According to this theory, the ancient Hylians were a powerful and technologically advanced civilization that lived in the land of Hyrule long before the events of the game. The ancient Hylians were skilled in the art of magic, and were able to create powerful and advanced artifacts such as the Triforce and the Master Sword. They also created the moon as a weapon against their enemies, imbuing it with powerful magical energies that would allow it to destroy anything in its path. However, the moon eventually turned against its creators, and became a force of destruction that threatened to destroy the land of Hyrule itself. The ancient Hylians were forced to seal it away, and it remained hidden until it was discovered by the game's main antagonist, the evil sorcerer Majora. So the cracks start to show a little more with this one. The bot gets a bit confused about where Majora's Mask takes place, mistakenly talking about Hyrule and ancient Hylians rather than things relevant to the land of Termina. But the bot still comes up with a really interesting idea, that the moon isn't a natural celestial body, but an ancient superweapon built by an advanced civilization. However, the more we ask ChatGPT about Zelda lore, the clearer it becomes that it doesn't actually understand what it is trying to say, and its answers are often pieced together using the same bits of information structured in the same way. For example, asking it to generate one theory on the origins of the Master Sword and another on the origins of the Sheikah Slate returns very similar responses, both quite generic answers mentioning them being fragments of the Triforce. So, to truly test the limits of this chatbot, I thought I'd ask it the ultimate question, and see if it could accurately explain the Zelda timeline. The Legend of Zelda series is known for its complex and convoluted timeline, which consists of multiple parallel universes and alternate timelines. The official timeline of the series was revealed by the creators of the games, and it is divided into three main branches: the child timeline, the adult timeline, and the downfall timeline. The child timeline branch is the timeline in which Link, the main protagonist of the series, defeats Ganon and restores peace to Hyrule as a child. In this timeline, the events of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker take place. The adult's timeline branch is the timeline in which Link fails to defeat Ganon and Hyrule is destroyed. In this timeline, the events of The Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past and The Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds take place. The downfall timeline branch is the timeline in which Ganon triumphs and takes over Hyrule. In this timeline, the events of The Legend of Zelda, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild take place. In addition to these three main branches, the timeline also includes other parallel universes and alternate timelines, such as the Hero of Time timeline and the Hero of the Winds timeline. These timelines are not directly connected to the main branches, and contain unique stories and events. Obviously, something's gone wrong here. It seems to have not only mixed up which timelines are which, but also the games that feature within them and the order that they do so. I asked it about the timeline a few more times with slightly different prompts, and while some results came closer than this first attempt, it still didn't seem to be able to get it completely right. So I guess it goes to show that however advanced AI gets, the Zelda timeline is still too complicated for it. Thanks for watching this video. It's something very different to my usual content, but I really wanted to share the results I got from asking this bot about Zelda Theories. I think it's so interesting. It's clear that it can already pull various ideas and facts together into something almost resembling a competent theory, and I'm so excited to see where it goes from here. As far as I can tell, ChatGPT can't search the internet, so any responses it gives are based on what it's already been trained on, which apparently includes a decent amount of Zelda lore. If you haven't already, check out ChatGPT with a link in the description, and let me know what you think in the comments. Am I out of a job? Let me know. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.